The Nintendo 64, a console that still begs the question, how the heck do you hold this thing? Yes, the N64 is home to many well-known titles from Super Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Mario Party 1, Mario Party 2, and of course, you guessed it, Gex! Yes, the N64 actually had some decent games to play, which is why when they announced its arrival to the Switch Online service, rather than groaning because it had absolutely nothing to do with fixing the actual online part of the service, I reacted with a, It is pretty nice to have these games to play on the Switch, though. Of course, I wish it didn't cost me an extra $30, but we aren't here to talk about the online service, surprisingly. We're actually here to talk about one specific N64 title that was added to the list back in October, Pilotwings 64. Pilotwings was a series I've heard about a few times, most recently during the 3DS era with Pilotwings Resort, which was a mashup of Pilotwings and Wii Sports Resort. And you're probably thinking, well, why not just talk about that game? Why did you choose to review Pilotwings 64? You didn't even decide to review the very first Pilotwings game on the SNES. But the honest truth is that something influenced me to play this specific game. So let's take a look at Pilotwings 64 and see what it's all about and if it's worth checking out. So Pilotwings is a series mainly focused on flight simulation. You're pretty much put in various scenarios with different flying equipment as you try to achieve certain goals. The game wastes no time and takes you straight to the menu with available game modes that we can try out. You've got the hang glider, the rocket belt, and the gyrocopter, with each one being quite different to each other. So let's go through the experience of each of these games. Sorry, did I say game? I meant test, because this shit needs to be taken seriously. Not solely for the purpose of unlocking the harder stages or other game modes. No. Let's say one day an alien arrives on the Earth and the fate of the planet relies on you getting a flawless score on Pilotwings 64. It could happen, so let's get to it. Chop, chop, Hawk! I've got a lot of work to do. All right, let's start with getting accustomed to the controls of the game. Okay, yes, I completely comprehend. So to break the controls down for those who aren't cool enough to buy an N64 controller, you really just need to rely on the left joystick for directions, the right joystick for the camera movements, and A, B, and ZL for actions. In the hang glider exam, you start right away in the air, and you must control your hang glider and maintain a good speed to stay in the air long enough to achieve your task, and let me say, this is a piece of equipment I hate the most. Controlling the hang glider is one thing, since it does take some time to get the controls down, and I really ended up crashing a lot trying to do something as simple as flying in a straight line. Oh yes, I wanted to go take the long way to the next ring, straight into the ground. Radical! Let's have another look at that sick crash in slow motion. Okay, let's just move on, please. So yeah, controlling this thing surprisingly isn't my biggest annoyance with the hang glider. It's landing. To this very day, I have absolutely no idea what I could be doing wrong here. I press the A and B button so that the character can then glide down slowly into a nice soft speed and land on the bullseye. And every time, I'm told that the landing impact was too much for the poor fella, treating it as if I broke every bone in their body. They're fine, walk it off! Hi, it's the post-editing version of me. I figured out how to properly land. Apparently you're supposed to be super close to the target, pressing the button so that your character can run to slow down. Because apparently that's how it works. And I didn't know this. That's all I have to say. Moving over to the rocket belt, you are strapped up to a rocket lifting you up and around the sky. Controlling the rocket belt is definitely much easier than the earlier piece of. They just have 3 angles. They can face downward to push you up, they can face backwards to push you forwards, and they can face forwards to push you backwards. And with the left joystick, you can guide the direction of the rockets, as well as what direction the character will face. And after a little bit of practice, it's honestly not that bad. The main thing you really need to be concerned with is the accuracy, as the tests usually have you aiming for something, whether it's popping balloons or going through hoops or getting a giant ball to the goal for who knows what reason, but it always finishes by landing gently in the middle of the target. Perfect. Finally, we have the gyrocopter, and this one is probably the most interesting one of the bunch. You start off on the ground, to which you press the A button to increase the throttle and be able to get some speed to soar into the skies and control with the left joystick. This was the one for me that took the least amount of time to get down. Okay, way to play the one clip of me trying this for the first time. But the thing that really makes me like this game mode is the tasks involved, because they can be quite enjoyable and very interesting as well. Now, usually you are trying to go through all the rings and land properly at the runway by lowering the throttle using the B button, which for me felt much more natural compared to the jetpack, where you are constantly moving back and forth, and if you messed up even a little bit, you had to adjust, where here, you just gotta get your turns down and everything's smooth sailing to the end. Now, the interesting thing is that the gyrocopter gyrocopter can shoot by pressing ZR, which is useful in the missions involving targets that you must hit, which honestly, I struggled quite a bit with. But it gets even more interesting when a tinfoil-looking dude appears, causing chaos to the very populated village. You have to hit the enemy various times while avoiding any projectiles it might throw towards your gyrocopter. It makes absolutely no sense why this is a thing, but I'm 100% here for it. However, like I said earlier, this game has some more modes that you can unlock with the more medals that you get and the better quality of those medals. Unfortunately, I kinda suck at this game, so I was able to get most of the game modes, but not all of them. I'm like a student taking GE courses. I could give 100% or just reach about 75% to pass and call it a night, but let's go through them, starting with Birdman, where you fly. That's all there is to it. You get to fly through 4 maps during the time of your choosing and explore, I guess. It's endless, and you can fly around. You can flap the wings with the A button and land or crash out. Either one works. Speaking of crashing, Cannonball has you aiming a cannon towards a bullseye, in which your character will launch right into it. I don't know where the giant cannonball or bullseye even came from, but we're about to launch a person through it. Or from my POV, completely missed the target. Then comes skydiving, which surprisingly has not listed information in the wiki. And it's strange because we all know wiki knows all, so clearly I'm the first person to have ever unlocked and played this game mode. So, congratulations, you're about to get an exclusive look. Skydiving is divided into 2 parts. You have the first portion where you have to perfectly match the given position in the air and complete as many matches as you can until you reach the low enough point in the map where you will be able to see a target, and you must find out how to land safely on it. And we all know I'm great at landing in this game. Finally, we have Jumble Hopper, but I wasn't able to unlock it, and it's not in the wiki either, so clearly nobody has successfully been able to even see what the heck this game mode even looks like, and we probably will never know. So with all of that, what is the overall view of this game? It's alright. For its time, this was definitely something to behold when it came to demonstrating the graphics, because it shows quite a bit of attention to detail in some areas, like Mount Rushmore in a timeline where Mario fought in the Revolutionary War. What a legend. Speaking of, the maps themselves are actually pretty good for a game like this. A lot of nice visuals, but not too distracting so we can be able to focus on the mission at hand. It also has a lot of areas to add to the difficulty of the objective. But let's be real, is this really a game worth playing nowadays? Honestly, I enjoyed playing this game, despite the amount of depression that this game brought with it. Usually I'm off fighting whatever war got started and is being fought by teenagers or young adults with powers. So playing something completely different was quite nice. Is what I would say if that was actually true. Because let's really think about this, people. I just did a review about a game that came out 27 years ago. In fact, this is the first game I decided to review in the new year. I haven't even talked about the latest Pokemon games. Heck, I haven't even talked about the fucking one before. And here I am deciding to talk about Pilotwings 64? Well, if you remember from the start of the video, I stated that something influenced me to play this game. Something occurred that truly made me want to try this very game. And what was that thing?
Do you ever find yourself thinking, I wish I had a jetpack? Rocket belt.
Yep. This trailer is the only reason I even considered touching this game. Do you think I would go out of my way to experience a game like Pilotwings 64? Out of my own free will? Heck no! I know I just ruined my chances at being part of the Pilotwings fan base. I'm so sorry. But it's the honest truth. And I gotta be real, the way this trailer was presented really hit different. The tone of the narrator gives one of good and relaxing vibes. It was a narration that made me feel like this game was a game that would soothe my nerves, cool my frustrations, despite whatever was happening in the background of the trailer. It didn't matter. This was what I needed to truly be at peace with life. And oh god, after finals, I needed that. And then it occurred to me, if a mellow trailer was all that was needed to influence me to play this game, maybe all game trailers should just follow the same approach. Like, just imagine it.
Do you ever find yourself thinking, I wish I could soar the skies on a legendary creature? Purple Jet. Or maybe you wish to take a smooth drive down the road in a cool cart. Tranquility. Maybe one night you imagine yourself dating 3 people at the same time, only to find out they all wanna f***ing kill you. Not gonna lie, you kinda deserve it. Or maybe you imagine beating the living crap out of everyone in your neighborhood because your boyfriend decided to disappear for a spa day. We get it. You're a menace to society. But no matter what you imagine, just remember, there's a game out there waiting for you. And let's be real, you probably suck at it. Like absolute garbage at the game. But that shouldn't stop you.
This is the weirdest ending to a video.